Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Dead, and this is The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 11, live fan reactions. We're going to do this a couple minutes early. I am super hyped to talk about tonight's episode, and plus I know many of you want to watch Talking Dead because there's going to be some good stuff, and we can't miss the sneak peek from next week. I stand corrected, everybody. I'm going to give each and every one of you a chance to give me a rating before I get my numbers out there. I know I'd said 5, 8, 8.5, 8.6. So I'm going to ask each one of you, tonight's episode, give me a quick rating from a 1 to a 10. While you guys are typing your numbers, I'm going to go ahead and throw my number out there. It drastically changed, everybody. Drastically. There we go. We got some 9.9, solid 9, 8.8, 9.9. I gave it a 9.1. I actually increased it by half a point. And there are things I've been way too hard on Henry. I'm sorry. I know he's monotone, and I know the acting has been suspect at times, but I just felt this loss tonight with Henry. Like everybody's happy, everybody has to, they have something to work up to and to look forward to, and Henry is lonely. I'm doing a complete 180 on this. I wholeheartedly understand him. I understand what he's doing. Look, what is Henry to do? Think about this. Even if Henry dies, I know some people are saying Henry needs to go. The dude has nothing. He can't find his place. He doesn't have anybody to get along with. Totally, he wore on me tonight. Kimberly M. super chatting and says, I'm a 9.9. Hey, 9.9, definitely take it. A couple other scores coming in. Swamp is like, Henry will never be all right. I'm going to ask, other than the obvious, other than the Henry pushback with Daryl and some of those things going on. What would you guys have liked to seen Henry do tonight? I know a lot of people are going to want to talk about Beta. Yeah, there it is. Everybody's like, Beta, next week. We want to see what's going down. Well, that's why I raised the score tonight. Because it wasn't necessarily, it wasn't filler. It was a bridge. Is there any chance that Henry can survive it next week? How many people think he's at the wrong place, the wrong time, and next week is the end of his story? Yeah, I know there were probably as many hidden clues in that one little 20-second segment of sneak peek for next week. That's got people more hyped than anything. Real quick question. Anybody with some Walking Dead knowledge, lore, that want to take a stab at what was the red sign on the back of the sign? Anybody know? Is that a whisper sign? Is that like a Theta, Omega, Phi, Kappa, Slamma, Jamma, something? The Highwaymen. We'll see, I guess. Whisper territory. It did look like a Greek symbol, right? See, that's why I thought it might be the Whispers. Yeah, we'll check it out. Westwood Chronic says maybe Henry can think for a second before he costs the lives of two people just to make out with a girl who hasn't brushed her teeth in 8 years. Oh, that's... but they both, they shared the worm. But it's a good point. Great episode. Still getting some of the verdicts are in. Okay, tonight's episode, because I know many of you want to talk about next week, and we will get to that in 1 minute, because the reaction is to everything. What part of tonight's episode most shocked or surprised you? I mean, the spoilers were spot on. The recap was spot on. I thought the mood and the tone was really, really good. I think the music set a lot of the tone. It seemed temporary. Temporary would be the word that I would use. Like, all right, when you saw Magnus group drinking and you saw like Alden with Enid, Henry not being able to sleep, Jerry holding the baby, and this is what I mean by that. You know when you're on vacation, and you know the last night you're on vacation before you have to go back, and you just want to enjoy every minute of it? When the scene got dark and the music started playing in the background and everybody was semi-happy, I honestly felt this was going to be the last night that they're all going to be happy. Calm before the storm. And certainly, you know, one thing that I guess I'd gotten it wrong, because we've been speculating, or at least I've been speculating, that the Red Fair was actually going to happen at the Hilltop, and it appears the fair is going to happen at Kingdom, and it looks like it's going to be the downfall of the Kingdom. We got Westwood Chronic. Most shocking that Enid was relevant. Very relevant. Drama King. I think the sign was a symbol for Hilltop. Triangle like a hill and a line across top. But I could be wrong. Well, I'm sure there's going to be some deep research on that throughout the week. JC Gaming, can you really not ever do that again? Dan Lawrence says, acting was top-notch, even from people I usually don't. Well, Dan, we talked about some of that earlier today. I thought that Henry's acting was pulling everybody else's wonderful performances down. But I will say, I thought Henry's acting was okay tonight. As much as I gave it a hard time earlier in the day, it took me to the end of the episode, and then I kind of got it, right? He doesn't want to bother anybody. He's not recruiting. He's like, I'm just going to go. And you know what? I mean, in fairness, that's what a lot of people want. I mean, people don't care about Henry. If he's going to die, he's going to die. So we got no vested interest in it. Let him go. If he accomplishes something, more power to him. And I kind of felt that. I felt a little bit of his loneliness, and he needs to stand for something. But what's funny, do you think that Daryl is just going out there to find Henry, or do you think that Daryl feels a little bit of guilt as well? And certainly Connie. Maybe Connie feels more guilt than Daryl. I want to read a couple of your comments to that response. Some guilt, some, hey, I'm responsible and I'm going to have to answer to Carol and Ezekiel for this. I get it. I know it was after the fact, but that's when it made a little bit more sense to me is, you know, Henry's like, hey, I understand it. I get it. And Daryl's answers just, I didn't think they were very good answers. Sure, Ecom. I get it. They had to exchange the hostages. What do you do about it? They know, it's her mom. She's not going to kill her, but she is going to torture her, and she is going to mentally continue to abuse her. Give Enid more time. The symbol was the Greek symbol for pi. William Finney, super chatting, says, how do you think the Daryl and Connie team turn out? William, I think they're going to be amazing. I don't think they're going to go out there and get caught. Henry's going to take out a couple with a stick, but Beta's going to put the smackdown on him. And I guess the problem is, doesn't it seem like this is going to be one of those things where maybe Daryl gives himself up to save Henry, that type of thing? Leave your thoughts and comments to that. 1189 Paris, foreshadowing the fall of the kingdom, the constitution of the communities when the whispers attack. Yeah, I think I'm close on the Red Fair prediction. But the one thing that just wasn't making sense was Alpha and Beta outside the kingdom, outside the hilltop. Yeah, now it all makes sense because they got the movie projector bulb. We see Beta kind of storm through. It looks like he was tearing some things down in the trailer. I want to go back and watch the trailer again because now I feel like Beta is just going to absolutely wreck the kingdom. And you've got people there from different communities, but especially the people that live there, and we had some big predictions. Nabila, Ezekiel. Ezekiel will die protecting the kingdom. And he may die protecting the kingdom. Drama King. Henry's giving me that ethical Morgan vibe. Yeah, well, see, that's why I keep going back and forth. I did it with Gabriel. I did it with Morgan. And now I'm doing it with Henry. But keep in mind, what was the analogy I used earlier, Drama? If I don't like Henry, they keep him alive. Now they're giving me a reason to start to like him. And I said, Henry's safe, Henry's safe. I'm going to have to analyze this a little bit more. Henry may not be safe after all. Because of that ethical vibe. Ecom. Happy montage in, one head from each group. Well, there were certainly some pikes. And it happened really, really quickly. I'm wondering if some of those pikes might be some of Negan's former wives or something. Kitty, is everyone mad because of Scott? I'll leave. If I have no idea what that even means. Who's Scott? And what are you talking about leaving? I'm seeing about, 1,000 comments. So if there's a one-off or a one-on-one, Kitty, I'm not sure what that even means. Sorry. You know what? Obviously, people glossed over it, so I wouldn't keep talking about it. If people aren't talking about it, it's not a big deal, so just move on. Henry had a good upbringing after putting a stick through the Savior's neck when he was a child. Well, I mean, I'm not going to totally underestimate Henry, but there's Beta. There's Beta. Sorry, Henry. Yeah, just guys, don't dwell. I don't know what's going on. Just let's move on. And Kitty, you can just kind of table that. Let's talk about The Walking Dead. I don't want to talk about one-off conversations that it's just distracting to the group. Let's get into the reactions from the show. Dan Lawrence, how great was the preview for next week? It was phenomenal. I would say, look, you want to find out how great the preview was? Let's just throw it out there. Watch this. These numbers will go through the roof. You can show a 20-second sampling of something, and it has beta, and it has the next stage of what we want to do, and people will they'll go nuts. All right, everybody, 1 to a 10. Give me a rating for there it is. Hippos are, it's a 10. No questions asked. Everybody, real quick, based on what you saw, limited. After that preview, it could be Enid singing for 60 minutes, and people would still give it a 10 based on that preview. Yeah, it's some pretty good stuff there. Wait a minute, is that Petey Wheatstraw coming in with 8.5? Did I see my long lost son, Petey Wheatstraw? What's going on, man? I'm seeing a lot of blasts from the past here. All right, really quickly, back to the preview for next week. The Pikes. Did all of you guys see the Pikes in the background? Yeah, okay, I want to make sure. It happened fast. I wasn't the only person. You've got a camp, you've got Pikes, and you got Lydia slugging Henry. It is going to get to a whole new level of creepiness. Beta chosen one? Beta? You're rocking the name Beta, and you didn't even see the Pikes. Disappointed. Westwood Chronic. Dog got his own little 5-second segment of the show. Thought that was weird. I did too. Well, they got the dog Daryl scene, and then they found a way to get an extra 60-second commercial. Not going to complain. We like ads. Do me a favor, though, everybody, really quickly. We got 350 people been in here so far, reviving. Do me a favor, everybody pike that like button. If you're super, super hyped up about next week's episode, then go ahead and slap that like button and make sure, if you're brand new to our streams, if you don't know what we're all about, if you're not a member of 999 Gaming, 999 Dead, 999 Army, subscribe to all three because you're going to want to be here for the reaction. You're going to want to be here tomorrow at 8 o'clock when we do a complete recap of the show. And all week long, we're going to be breaking this thing down, especially what's going on next week. The last 5 episodes are going to be absolutely out of control. Yeah, well, me too. It's like, didn't I just see this? Well, Newfield 12, Diana May. But the big question is going to be, the first opportunity is Henry. But I got a feeling that those Pikes are going to be at least one person that we recognize. Maybe a Frankie or one of Negan's wives, something. I think one of those Pikes, we're going to see what they do to people. I just don't think it's going to be a random person. I think they have to add some shock value. Do you guys agree or disagree that when they zoom in? And I'm trying to think of who, I mean, it could be Heath, right? Somebody Daryl knows. Daryl needs to understand the gravity of the situation. So if he sees Henry trapped and Connie, Dog, and Daryl watching, and he's like, oh man, they're going to kill Henry. But he's like, then he sees a head on a pike and it's somebody he recognizes. I think that it'll escalate quickly. Or are we going to see the Daryl Beta fight scene next week? That did kind of look like a makeshift tent or or some sheet hanging or something, right? So this could definitely, we could definitely see the Daryl Beta fight next week. American Pride 7777 says Henry's going to lead them to the kingdom. That I agree with. I agree with you. Beta, the Chosen One. Watch the preview again, and I saw them. Oh, I think you're onto something. American Pride, I think, hit the nail on the head. Henry survives next week, and that's how they find the kingdom. And maybe Lydia slugs him. See, the good thing about Lydia is, all right, first and foremost, Lydia didn't have to kiss Henry at the end. The purpose of the kiss was to see she's genuine. She really likes Henry. Henry likes her. And the reason I think that's important is because when she slugs Henry, I think she's probably going to say something to trick him. Henry is easily manipulated. Right, Omicron. I think the punch... See, I don't know. I don't know if the punch was necessarily for show or if it was to get to protect Henry. You just kind of pop him one. It's like, I wasn't interested in you. And then Henry's going to feel heartbroken. He leaves, goes back to Kingdom. They follow him to Kingdom. And then we'll get that scene. Oh, boy. We're going to get that scene in episode 13 where Alpha and Beta are out there. Shh. And they're in the Kingdom watching movies. So far, we've got the bulb. We've got Henry's going to meet Beta next week. So we get our introduction to Beta. We've got a reasonable plot of Lydia slugging him, Henry leaving, and then following him back to Kingdom. And then they absolutely destroy the Kingdom. And I think that's where all our death is going to take place in 13. It is going to be absolutely intense. Good. Heart of Nixie. Mama taught her to punch the ones you love. Yeah. They have a funny way of showing affection. So my question is, will we make it through one more week without death? I think we might. I think episode 12, they're not going to kill Henry. And I think it's going to really set everything up for 13 and the Red Fair. I still don't feel like there's going to be a major death next week. They're going to happen in a hurry. Well, we got the death of Frank. And we have the Pikes, so there's an implied death. Hey, Tommy, let's not do 5-minute bans for new people in the chat. It's first time, dropping a curse word. Just slow it down a little bit if you don't mind. We got a lot of new people here. And not everybody's going to jump in here and just be super familiar. Where is Gamma, by the way? Anybody? Beta does look bad. And I'm gonna have to watch it again to get the Beta voice down. Newfield 12, if you didn't know about the baby scene, you have done a very, very good job avoiding the spoilers because that's been out there for a while. William Finney, super chatting it up, says the death of Henry or any other major deaths will disrupt plans for the fair. No deaths next week. Yeah, see, I agree with that. I think word would get back. I mean, word gets to the kingdom slow anyway. They still think Jesus is alive. I mean, Ezekiel and Carol didn't even get to attend the funeral. I mean, didn't that seem a little odd? Like, the people from the kingdom weren't invited to Jesus' funeral? I don't know. Just thinking out loud. Randy Walden, is nobody going to talk about the fact that Hilltop was not on the charter and that Daryl did not seem to know about the secret gateway log file? Hilltop was on the charter, by the way, Randy. There were two scenes. I thought the same thing that you thought because at first when they unrolled it, they only showed 3. And then when there was another scene where they unrolled the charter a little bit more, and the sanctuary and Hilltop, there were actually 5. Yeah, it was a little strange when I first saw it too. But I think it's, I think it was a bigger deal that the kingdom just doesn't know what's going on. I mean, you get people riding around in armor, but kingdom needs to be updated. So, Joe Fulford, do you think the Whisperer that lost the baby will come back and try to get the baby back? No. Actually, yeah. See, this is what's going to happen next week. If you guys want 100% confirmed spoilers, but about 90% possible spoiler, then I will tell you what's going to go down next week. You just reminded me. You just reminded me of exactly how it's going to go down. So, yeah, it's not going to be Henry's death next week. All right, if you guys want to tune away, like I said, this is not 100%. But it has been leaked out there for a long time. So I'll give you 5 seconds to turn away. There is a scene that has been talked about for a long time, and I think this is the perfect week for it to happen. The woman who left the baby, that's going to actually be Alpha's first kill. I'm not sure if she kills the woman first or the boyfriend, but apparently she kills both. Very brutally. So it probably appears that Henry will make it back. We did see the bucket of blood, and I think that's going to play out next week. And I think she decapitates the mom and makes the husband watch. And then after he watches, then she attacks him with and stabs him to death too. So I think that's going to be the first brutal death, is where people actually see her. Now, Henry will see that. I'm not sure if Daryl, Connie, and Dog will see it. But that might be just enough to sort of shake Henry up. But I think that's going to be your big death scene for next week. Yeah, somebody just reminded me when you said, will the woman go back and get her baby? No, she's gone. Alpha is something else, man. Alpha, she was smirking when the baby was on the ground. She didn't care. Natural selection. And now she's going to execute a couple of her own. Stay tuned for that. Like I said, it's probably 90% confirmed. There could be a couple details that I'm missing with that scene or how it goes down. But yeah, that's been out there for a while. They're animals, no doubt about it. So, Over 300 people here. One more time, everybody, before we wind this thing down. If you guys had a good time during Walking Dead Day, if you've attended the streams, you like our reactions video, do me a favor, everybody. Pop the like button. Pike the like button. Give this video a thumbs up. We got another super chat in the house right before we wind it down. We got Westwood Chronic super chatting it up. Did Alden look to keep their mask? That would have been a nice gesture. Hang on a second. Oh, I'm sorry. Did Alden and Luke get to keep? No. Maybe. The mask might be on the ground. I didn't see anybody pick them up. But yeah, maybe that would come up at the end. Either they have the mask stashed, or the Whispers just picked them up and said, "Hey, this is our gear. We're heading out." It might be nothing, but we'll keep an eye on that just to see if they have some disguises. Yeah, Luke's mask did make me laugh. Not Skittles says, who do you think the Pike victims are? Not Skittles. I'm going to ask you to go back and watch the stream I did at noon today that talks about the Red Fair. It was actually a fairly short video, but I have 6 Pike predictions in there, and I'm going to stick to those. Ameripride 7777. Alpha's face, is it infection from wearing dead people's faces? I just think it's dirt. I just think they want to make her look dirty. She's an animal. No need to bathe. Over a few weeks, you're out in the dirt. I don't think it's infection. I think it's just dirt. Phyllis 9654 with a super chat says, when the sound was muted when Connie was in the field with the baby was awesome. That of the extra spoilers that I read this morning, when we did that, I honestly was looking forward to that. That was something totally different to sort of put you in the vibe, and you can see the challenge. Like we hear the walkers, and we have all those senses, and Connie, she didn't notice until they got right up on her. I mean, very, very dangerous situation for her. I mean, there are some handicaps that truly, being blind, being deaf, losing a limb, that we're going to see people have challenges through the second half. Robert Frank, hate to be negative, but worst episode ever. Up there was still, Alpha's voice reminds me of Tangina Barons from the Poltergeist movies. Hey, Robert, certainly respect your opinion. I didn't think it was bad. I really, as I started reading more and understanding the bridge to it, I did not like the spoilers. That I'll agree, because I know you and I were messaging back and forth during the week, and I scored it really low. Probably why you're sending me the message. You're like, Kills, this spoiler is garbage. I thought the extra stuff, and when it plays out, how they're setting up the next stage of it, let's wait to see what happens with Daryl and Connie and see if Earl and Tammy, I think a lot of this was a big setup for not next week, but episode 13. Once we get to episode 13, I think we'll look back on this episode and say it was necessary. Because if they just went guns a-blazing, then the storyline's just not going to be congruent. But I certainly respect that. But you probably saw I changed my rating all throughout the week. I went from a 5 to an 8 to an 8.5, 8.6. And actually, at the end of the night, I rated a 9.1. I rated up there because I thought the vibe was good. I thought the mood was good. I liked the music in the background. Henry was not as annoying as he has been in the past. So I finally got to relate to him a little bit. We've got another super chat in the house, but thank you for that, my man. June Smith, die, Alpha, die. You know what, June? It wasn't a Rick Grimes super chat, so I'll give you credit for that. So you went from pro Rick Grimes to definitely anti-Alpha. But, June, I'm telling you, we're going to need some Negan very soon. We got Drama King. Drama King. Dirt is used to cover exposed skin under the mask. There you go. So, just to make you a little bit more immune, I guess, to the walkers. Or it could be a little bit of dried up walker guts as well. Over time, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what dried up walker guts look like. I'm just trying to sound like I know what all this stuff is on her face that keeps walkers from attacking them. Ton of people here tonight, so I appreciate all of you guys being involved in this stream. So just to make sure everybody can watch the end of Talking Dead, we're going to wind this thing down. We're a little bit over 30 minutes. I want to thank each and every one of you. It's been an amazing Walking Dead day. Wow, 5 streams, 6 streams. This is our 6th broadcast throughout the day. So I, for one, I'm a little bit exhausted. I know I sound like super fired up. I'm pumped, but yeah, I'm winding down. I do want to make a couple announcements. We will be live at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. We're going to be doing a full recap. So hold tight. We're going to get back into this episode, and we're also going to talk about next week. I know a lot of people are going to get some data out there. And then we'll also have a little bit of the passage going on tomorrow night. So join us at 8 o'clock tomorrow night and also at 10:10. We got Eric Beach super chatting it before we wind it down. Kills, what kind of mental illness does Alpha have? It's tough to tell. Exactly. Alpha she's a combination of multiple degrees, but I think she actually is borderline schizophrenic. I think she has been traumatized. There's different, I think she has the ability to love and bond, but I also think in her mind, her leadership persona really believes in the de-evolution of mankind. That it's not about advancing, it's about regression. So we're going to get into more streams with her, but I think you're going to see multiple personalities really come out in Alpha. And absolute evil. But Ellis, I never buy into the fact that there's this thing called pure evil. I think evil is a byproduct of several different issues, not just it's just like a word you use to it's a catch-all. That person's just evil. Well, why are they evil? I don't know. They got a dark heart. They just like to do things. I mean, there's a reason somewhere deep down in that twisted self of hers. But it's going to be really, really challenged to understand everything that Alpha does, and who knows. If she does die next season, and that's a big if because they may keep her lurking, it'll be once we get to the end of that journey to sort of break her down and talk about all the carnage and all the things that happened from the time we met her until the time that she potentially could die. All right, everybody, 35 minutes in the books. I want to thank each and every one of you. We're going to wind this thing down. I will see everybody tomorrow night. Do me a favor. I'm not going to do any shout-outs because it's really super late. But if you like what we do, if you love the 999 Army, then just give me a quick 999 on the way out the door so everybody watching the playback can see that streaming up and down their stream. So one big super I can't say it. See, I told you I should have wound this thing down. One big super shout out to each and every one of you in the 999 Army. Thank you for everything you do. I will see you at 8 o'clock.